A record-breaking earthquake in the Campi Flegrei caldera. In Brazil, cities lie in ruins after a tornado. In Russia, abnormal flooding in the Tyumen region. Nuclear power plants in Europe shut down due to drought. Coming up in this edition, we will cover the scale and consequences of these and other climate events of the past week. And also how Japan's powerful earthquake, with a magnitude of 7.1, not only caused widespread destruction, but also exposed problems that had long remained hidden beneath established social norms. Russia. After anomalously hot weather on July 31st, the Chelyabinsk region was hit by a powerful storm with large hail. Some hailstones were the size of a chicken egg. According to residents, roofs, cars, and greenhouses were damaged. On the same day, large hail also struck the Kurgan region. In the village of Bolshoi Berkut in the Dalmatovsky district, local residents captured a tornado, rare for this area, passing near residential homes. On August 1st, the Sverdlovsk region was hit by anomalously heavy rainfall. In Severoralsk, precipitation reached 87 millimeters, exceeding the monthly average for August. An unprecedented rise in water levels on the Tura and Pishma rivers has complicated the situation in the Tyumen district. Dozens of settlements are within the flooded area. A state of emergency has been in effect since July 28th. Normally, after the spring flood, water levels in the rivers gradually decline. But this time, the opposite happened. A record-breaking rainy June and continuous downpours throughout July completely saturated the soil with moisture, and it stopped absorbing water. A similar situation is also being observed in neighboring regions across almost the entire Tura River basin. The water level rose rapidly and by August 2nd had already reached 8 meters and 96 centimeters, exceeding the threshold for a hazardous hydrological event by 46 centimeters. This resulted in a record summer flood, unlike anything previously seen here. The river overflowed its floodplain, inundating settlements. Because of the anomalous rains and flooding in the Tyumen region, the quality of water supplied to Tyumen's water system from the Tura River deteriorated sharply. According to residents, the water developed an unpleasant smell and color, making it impossible to shower normally, wash dishes, or do laundry. Rosvodokanal Tyumen stated that pollution of this kind had never been recorded in the entire history of operating the water treatment facilities. A strong smell of dead fish spread throughout the city, noticeable not only along the banks of the Tura River, but also in outlying districts. According to a hydrologist, it will take months to clear the river of fertilizers, waste, and septic tank contents washed from fields and urban areas by the floodwaters. In his opinion, the Tura River will be able to fully recover only after winter and the next spring flood, which will remove the remaining pollution. Europe. A prolonged drought has affected many European countries since the beginning of the year. The series of anomalous heat waves that followed intensified evaporation, causing water levels in the region's rivers and lakes to fall rapidly. Lake Lac des Brenets, on the border between Switzerland and France, lost more than 90% of its volume in just a few weeks. To save the dying fish, environmental services and volunteers caught them from the remaining shallow areas of water. Where tourists were still sailing by boat through picturesque canyons only recently, now only a narrow strip of brown water remains. Europe's major rivers have also reached a critical state. In July, the Rhine's discharge in the Netherlands fell below 767 cubic meters per second for the first time in the entire history of observations. Restrictions on water withdrawals were introduced across most of the country, while farmers were prohibited from irrigating. Because the river has become so shallow, the flow of fresh water at its mouth can no longer hold back the sea, allowing salt water to move farther upstream and threatening ecosystems and agriculture. A historic low has also been recorded on the Danube, one of Europe's main waterways. The consequences of the Danube's record low water levels are already being felt by every country along its course. Navigation is restricted, cruise ships are changing their routes, and the transportation of grain, coal, and fuel is becoming increasingly difficult and costly. Dozens of cargo vessels and hundreds of boats have been left stranded on the dried-out riverbank near the city of Novi Sad in northern Serbia. In the east of the country, the rusting hulls of German ships from the Second World War, which normally remained underwater, have once again been exposed. The narrowing of the safe navigable channel from 180 to 100 meters has forced barges to carry only a quarter of their maximum load. The effects of the drought have also hit the energy sector. The critical drop in water levels has caused problems with cooling nuclear power plant reactors. Romania's only nuclear power plant, Cernavoda, was shut down for the first time since it entered operation. Because of the electricity shortage, street lighting is being switched off at night in Iași, the country's second-largest city, with lighting maintained only near hospitals, at pedestrian crossings, and in key tourist areas. Hungary's only nuclear power plant, PAX, is currently operating at less than half capacity. If the Danube's water level continues to fall, specialists do not rule out a complete shutdown. The water level in Budapest has fallen to 23 centimeters, while some branches of the Sugovica tributary near the city of Baja have almost completely dried up. In Bulgaria, 186 tourists were evacuated after a cruise ship ran aground and ran out of food and water supplies on board. In the United Kingdom, much of the country has also been gripped by drought. Amid the fourth heat wave of the summer, temperatures rose to 35 degrees Celsius. In July, average rainfall across the country amounted to only about 7% of the monthly norm, and in the southern regions, about 1%. Water use restrictions have already affected more than 20 million people. Farmers are reporting falling crop yields. Some crops had to be harvested early, and poor grass growth has forced them to use winter feed for livestock. Italy. On July 31st, the area of the Campi Flegrei supervolcano caldera was shaken by the most powerful earthquake since continuous instrumental monitoring began in the region. The earthquake reached a magnitude of 4.7. The epicenter was recorded near the city of Pozzuoli, while the hypocenter was located at a depth of approximately 3 kilometers. The tremors were felt throughout Naples and its suburbs, as well as on the islands of Ischia and Procida. Because of the earthquake, residents fled buildings in panic and rushed out into the streets. In many buildings in Pozzuoli, plaster and facade elements fell away, with debris landing on parked cars. In some homes, doors became jammed, leaving residents trapped inside. In addition, several non-residential structures collapsed. More than 300 people were evacuated in the city. The earthquake caused a collapse of tough slopes, with large rock fragments falling onto vehicles and crushing several cars. A married couple inside one of them narrowly escaped death. The port of Pozzuoli was temporarily closed, and more than 40 daily services, including ferries and high-speed vessels, were cancelled. The tremors caused deep cracks in the access lanes leading to the piers, raising concerns about the safety and stability of the port infrastructure. For safety reasons, the Naples authorities temporarily suspended metro and train services, including high-speed trains. Damage to a high-voltage power transmission tower in the city caused power outages affecting around 100,000 consumers. Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology reported that around 170 aftershocks were recorded after the main earthquake, about 15 of them with magnitudes above 2. Many residents chose not to return to their homes and spent the night outdoors or in their cars, fearing further tremors. At least 26 people were injured as a result of the earthquake, 2 of them seriously. Brazil. During the first half of the week, the state of Rio Grande do Sul was hit by a combination of hazardous events: torrential rains, hail, strong winds, flash floods, and landslides, affecting at least 128 municipalities. On the evening of July 28th, a supercell in the northwestern part of the state produced a destructive tornado, injuring at least 7 people and leaving dozens of families homeless. According to meteorologists, wind speeds inside the funnel may have reached 300 kilometers per hour. The disaster affected 3 municipalities and left behind destruction resembling the aftermath of military action. Homes were completely destroyed, trees were uprooted, utility poles were knocked down, and vehicles were damaged. In the Rincão dos Ribeiros area of the municipality of Giruá, the tornado destroyed several homes, and firefighters had to rescue people from beneath the rubble. 4 people were injured as a result of the disaster. The event caused widespread power outages, while roads were blocked by debris and fallen trees. According to statistics, from the beginning of 2026 through the end of July, 81 tornadoes were recorded in Brazil. The current season may surpass last year's record of 92 tornadoes, as the most active period of the season is still ahead. The most extensive damage from the hail that accompanied the storms was recorded in the city of Santo Antonio das Missões, where around 400 residential buildings were damaged. In the municipality of Ubiratama, hail damaged up to 80% of homes. Strong winds in the city of Osorio damaged commercial businesses, public buildings, and 350 residential homes. One person was injured by a section of roof torn loose by the wind. Flooding along the Jacuí and Taquari rivers isolated communities and damaged bridges and road infrastructure. The very next day, July 29th, a powerful cold front moved into the southeastern states, bringing destructive winds with gusts of up to 125 kilometers per hour. Before the storm arrived, the region had experienced a period of intense heat. In the city of Rio de Janeiro, the temperature rose to 35.8 degrees Celsius, while in Santos, in the state of São Paulo, it reached 35.2 degrees. Numerous flights were cancelled at Congonhas Airport in São Paulo. In Rio de Janeiro, power disruptions brought metro and commuter train services to a halt. The Rio-Niterói bridge was temporarily closed, and Santos Dumont Airport completely suspended operations. Power outages affected more than 2 million consumers in the states of Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo. Destructive wind gusts brought down hundreds of trees, damaged roofs, and caused walls to collapse. In addition, operations at Latin America's largest port in Santos were disrupted, and ferry services were suspended. Off the coast of São Sebastião in the state of São Paulo, a fishing boat capsized. 1 person died while 4 crew members were rescued. In total, 5 people were killed as a result of the storm. Japan. On July 28th, a powerful earthquake with a magnitude of 7.1 struck the Japanese island of Kyushu in Kumamoto Prefecture. The earthquake's hypocenter was located at a depth of about 10 kilometers, causing the shaking to spread across a large area from the northern part of Kyushu Island to the Hokuriku region. In some areas, seismic intensity reached the maximum level of 7 on the Japan Meteorological Agency scale. The earthquake occurred in the middle of the working day, when stores, offices, and shopping centers were filled with employees and visitors. People left the buildings and gathered in parking lots, open areas, and other places away from structures. An active series of aftershocks began almost immediately after the main earthquake. Many of them also occurred at a depth of about 10 kilometers, or very close to the surface. During the first 3.5 hours, specialists recorded 61 perceptible aftershocks. Many people were afraid to return to their homes, even when the buildings appeared relatively intact from the outside. Some chose to spend the night in their cars. A special evacuation center was organized for foreign nationals in Kumamoto, where information about the earthquake, aftershocks, and safety rules was provided in 4 languages. As of the evening of August 2nd, nearly 8,500 people were still staying in 206 evacuation centers opened across 21 cities and towns. An additional hardship for residents was the intense heat, which had set in before the earthquake and persisted afterward. In Kumamoto, from July 28th through the end of the month, daytime temperatures exceeded 35 degrees Celsius. While at night, the air cooled only to between 26 and 28 degrees, leaving people with virtually no relief from the heat. A woman over 70 years old became a likely indirect victim of the seismic event. After being evacuated, she spent the night in a car and is believed to have died from heat stroke. One of the most tragic episodes occurred at Aeon Mall Kumamoto in the town of Kashima. A 22-year-old employee of a store on the 2nd floor safely evacuated the building and was in the parking lot. However, despite the continuing aftershocks, she and a colleague decided to return inside on management's instructions to place the day's takings in a safe. Near the shopping center, the young woman happened to encounter relatives who tried to persuade her not to go back into the building. However, she replied that she had to follow management's instructions. A few minutes after the employees entered the building, an explosion occurred, causing part of the structure to collapse. Their bodies were found the following day in front of the store where they had worked. It is believed that the underground tremors damaged a gas main or connections inside the building. According to preliminary information, the explosion was caused by a leak of liquefied gas. 7 people were killed in the explosion. It is worth noting that this building had previously been considered a facility that could be used to provide assistance to the public and temporarily shelter people in the event of an emergency. The earthquake caused serious destruction at the Nippon Paper Industries paper mill in the city of Yatsushiro. Production facilities were damaged, including the collapse of a tall smokestack. People were also killed on the premises of the plant. As of the morning of August 2nd, the deaths of at least 36 people had been confirmed in Kumamoto Prefecture. The consequences of the seismic event affected more than 4,200 residential buildings. They sustained damage, while 181 structures were completely destroyed. Significant damage was also caused to utility networks. More than 46,500 homes in 5 municipalities were left without access to centralized water supply, forcing residents to obtain drinking water from special distribution points. Damage to gas pipelines in Yatsushiro led to the suspension of gas supplies to approximately 9,000 consumers. Damaged roads made the work of emergency services more difficult, while traffic was completely prohibited on 8 sections of road in the prefecture. Coastal infrastructure also sustained serious damage. Damage was recorded at nearly 1/3 of Kumamoto's fishing ports. Breakwaters, piers, access roads, and facilities associated with nori seaweed cultivation were affected. Because some of the damage is underwater or in hard-to-reach areas, the full extent of the destruction has not yet been determined. The story of the shopping center employees in Kumamoto raises questions not only about the tragic mistakes that led to what happened, but also about how highly human life is valued in modern society. If every decision had been based on the principle that human life is the highest value, events would have unfolded differently at every stage. Management would not have sent the employees back into a potentially unsafe building just to secure the day's takings. The young women would not have been forced to put their lives at risk because of a sense of duty to their employer or fear of losing their jobs. The responsible authorities would have ensured the necessary control and prevented people from returning to a building damaged by the earthquake and potentially dangerous. Only the young woman's relatives acted reasonably in this situation, trying to stop her from going back inside. During an emergency, no material assets, work duties, or management instructions can be more important than human life. If there is even the slightest threat, any action that may put a person at risk should be refused, regardless of who demands that it be carried out. Responsibility for safety cannot be placed entirely on managers or emergency services alone. It also lies with the individual. Everyone should know how to act in an emergency, assess possible risks, and make independent decisions if the instructions they receive conflict with safety requirements. In a critical situation, refusing to carry out actions that could endanger a person's life cannot be considered a breach of discipline. On the contrary, it is a necessary measure to preserve life. Money, property, and other material resources can be restored, earned again, or recreated. But the one thing that cannot be recovered once lost is a human life.